So we've done quite a lot of maths so far. We've gone through quadratics, we've been to simultaneous equations, inequalities, dealing with algebraic fractions. And now we come to what actually might be some of the easiest marks you could pick up in the exam. Trial and improvement, trial and error, whatever you want to call it. So all it is let's first kind of understand the question. So they want you to solve this equation or something like this. They'll give you an equation like that. So remember, they're trying to tell you, alright, so it's saying find me the x, which if I cube it and add 7 lots of it, that equals 30. Now, hopefully you can kind of see that we've never been shown how to, solve this kind of thing. Maybe if this is a squared, so if it was x squared plus 7x equals 30, then we would kind of take away 30 each side, and we just solve it as a quadratic. But it's not a squared, it's a cubed, so we don't actually know how to solve this. And you notice they'll just give you all kinds of things, which basically at GCSE at least, you haven't been shown how to find the answer. So here's literally what you do. You just take, it's always going to be equal to a number. So you just take this side, x cubed plus 7x, and that's it. And you just start plugging in numbers and trying to get one which gives you, the closest to 30. Now here's another thing you'll understand. The number in the end is going to be some really ugly number. If you actually want the exact answer, I could actually do that on my calculator. So the actual answer will be, give me a second. The actual answer, if you're interested, is 2.3741. 01654. So the real answer usually ends up going on forever, but you don't need to define that. So here's what they'll do with most of the things. They'll give you two numbers which they guess with. So all they did here was, in x cubed plus 7x, yeah, they plugged in x equals 2. So can you see, they've just done 2 cubed plus 7 times 2. So that said 2 cubed is 8 plus 14. That gives you 22. So that's how they got this number. And then they also plugged in x equals 3. So then we've got 3 cubed plus 7 times 3. So 3 cubed is 27 plus 7 times 3, which is 21. That's how they got 48. So that's how they did that. So now, here's the deal, yeah? But we're trying to make it equal 30. So when we put in 2, it gave us 22, which is less than 30. That's why they're saying too small. So then they went to 3, and that was too big. So now what they're saying is they want... So let me tell you this as well. When you find that one number is too small to what you're trying to find, and one is too big, your answer is going to be between there. And you'll notice, look, it's only asking you to one decimal place. So the answer is either going to be, 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, so on, 2.9, 3.0. And you've just got to basically find which one of these is the closest to our actual answer 30. None of them are going to give you exactly 30. So here's really what the trick is. When you find a number which is too big and too small, the answer is between it. So what I recommend all we're going to try doing is we're going to bridge that gap. So right now it's, the gap is like 1. So what we do is we pick a number in the middle or something. That's usually a good way to go. 2.5. And by the way, these kind of questions are always going to be with calculator. So now let's plug that in. So 2.5 cubed plus 7 times 2.5. Stick that in the calculator. What does that give you? So that gives you 2.5 cubed. I've got that as 33.123. So can you see that's too big? So this is good because now we knew that it was before. So we knew that 2, or x equals 2 is too small, and we knew that 3 is too big. So what we did was we found out 2.5, and we found out that's too big. So here's the deal, where before we knew it's between here, but now because we've kind of gone in the middle, we now know it's between here. See what I mean? So now we just try another value in between, and again, try go for somewhere near the middle usually. I mean, hopefully you can kind of see that we would have kind of expected it to be closer towards 2 anyway. It's not 100%, but the reason is, can you see this was 18 away? This is 18 away. Where this was only 8 away from our 30. So we might have a feeling it's going to be closer towards 2, but, just test it. So, for this one, I don't know, let's just pick 2.3. We could have picked 2.2, 2.4. But I like to try going in the middle. So look, let's put in 2.3 to the power of 3 plus 7 times 2.3. What's that going to come out to? 2.3 to the power of 3 plus 7 times 2.3. So, okay, so that is 28.267, which is just slightly too small. Alright, so let's think about what's happening. At this stage, we knew that 2 was too small, and we knew that 2.5 was too big. We tried like 2.3, now we found out that's too small. So forget that, we know our answer's between here. So, alright, so there's only really one other thing to 1 decimal place. Remember, if this was to 2 decimal places, we need to find an answer like 2.34, 2.54, whatever the hell it ends up being. So yeah, let's, the only other one to really try is 2.4. 2.4, so put that in. We're just going for 2.4 cubed plus 7 times 2.4. That gives us, right, that gives us 30.625. So this is slightly too big. And we've got to our situation now, and this is the situation we always want to get to. So we found out that 2.3 is too small, and we found out that 2.4 is too big. So now, give me a second here. Yep, so we know that's too big. So now there's nothing else in the middle here, which could be 1 decimal place. The numbers between these, 1 decimal place is 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. So there's nothing else we can test in the middle of this. So look, notice how this one gave us 2.267 and this one gave us 30.624. Then basically, the one which we pick out of this one and this one is simply the one which gave us the closest to 30. Now can you see the difference between these is like 0.624, where this one is like 1 point something. So this one is actually closer to 30. And that's how we pick our answer. So this one's 2.4. It's literally as easy as that. You're just trying to consider all the numbers to 1 decimal place, and you're just trying to find the 2 which are next to each other, where one's too small and one's too big. And then when you get to that stage, out of those 2, you just pick the one which is, the number it gives you is the one closest to whatever you're trying to get. That's it. So, let me copy paste another question for you, and we'll do that one. Okay, so I'm pausing it quickly. Right, so we're back. So now we got this question. So another one, x plus 1 over x equals 5. So, look, they show you that 4 is too low. So that's the only information they're giving you. They're just showing you that 4 is, if you put 4 in, remember we're trying to get, so that just means 4 plus 1 over 4, where you plug it into here. They found that that equals 4.25, which hopefully you can see because it's just 0.25, it's a quarter. If you can't, put it in the calculator. That's too low. So now listen, we've got a too low. So here's, where the other one, it told you one which is which was too small, one too big. All you know is you've got 4, and that's too small. So you just need a number somewhere up in infinity. So look, you've got to be a little bit smart about this as well. Because you're trying to get 5, I mean, you could try 6. I mean, look, say like you went to 6, so you'd be 6 plus 1 over 6, which if you plug it in will give you something like, what's the 6 top of my head? Yeah, I'll give you like 6.16666. Obviously that's too big. Well, you know, if you're kind of half smart about it, so if you did that, you'd do like 6.1666. It's too big. You know? But really, you should be knowing that you want to go for 5. 5 is going to be too big. Because think about it. 5 add something is obviously going to be bigger than 5. So really, you shouldn't have been bothering wasting your time with 6. But you know, if you had, no big deal. You just got to do more. So 5 would give you 5.2, which is too big. So I guess now you're kind of underway. So right, so now you're at this situation. You know that 4 is too small and 5 is too big. So yeah, this is one of those where as well, like, have a look at the equation. You know, even if they don't, because here's the thing, they might not give you too low or too big. They might literally just start you off. I think the next question is like that. But yeah, so like, you know, use your brain a little bit. You know, we're trying to make this side equal 5, so obviously if that equals 5 plus 1 over 5, that's going to be slightly too big than 5, so don't bother going any higher than that. So, you know, and here's what I say now. This is the other thing as well. So 4 gave us 4.25 and this gave us 5.2 and we're looking for 5. Can you see that's going to be way closer towards 5? So, you know, we can go for 4.5, but you might even be tempted to start with 4.6 or 4.7. It doesn't matter, but I'm just kind of telling you quick ways. For the sake of it, you know, I'll start off at 4.5. So, you know, let's type into the calculator 4.5 plus 1 over 4.5. Let's see what that is. Alright, it's 4.722. So I've got 4.5 in, it's 4.722. Now that's too small as well. So okay, so we're getting closer. And remember, we're doing it to 1 decimal place, so we only want something like, we know now it's got to be 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, or 5.0. That's where we're at. So, you know, let's just keep going. I don't know, let's pick 4.8 for the sake of it. We could have picked any of these, really. I mean, surely, I think one of these will be smart, but no big deal either way. 4.8 plus 1 over 4.8, what is that? That is just too high. 5.0083. So that's too big, ever so slightly too big. Yeah, so look, because that's just ever so slightly big. Go to 4.7. So do 4.7 over 1.4.7. That gives you, so that gives you something which is too low. 4.9127. So that's too small. So you got these up to 1 decimal place, and you find the ones which are, you know, next to each other. One's too big, one's too small. And hopefully, so, you know, just for the sake of it, you find that 4.7 is too small, 4.8 is big. Now obviously to 1 decimal place, there's no other number in here which is 1 decimal place. And can you see this one was so close? Yeah, where this one's a little bit more off. Yeah, this is the one you go for. The answer is 4.8. Now, out of interest, if any of you kind of like notice this, you can actually solve this. There is a way to solve this. So let's think about what they've given you. Not that I particularly care, but just, you know, those of you who get this will see this. So you've got x plus 1 over x equal to 5. Imagine if we times both sides by x. Let's imagine what that would create. So, you know, on this side we'd have x plus 1 over x. So if we do that, we get x squared. Now think about this one, x times 1 over x. So that's the same as saying x over 1 times 1 over x. So you see that will give us x over x, which is 1. So that would equal 1. And the other side would equal 5x. So now, think about taking 5x away from each side. X squared minus 5x plus 1 equals 0. Now that's a quadratic. You can actually solve that. If you kind of stick that into the quadratic formula, you'll actually end up getting an equation. You'll get two answers basically. You'll get x equals 0.2087 and 4.7913. And obviously that's the one you care about because they're saying this is too low. So yeah, so funnily enough, actually, try that. Not that this matters, this is just for kind of half interest if anyone's interested. Try that one. Bet you that works as well. So let's do 1 divided by 0.2087 plus 0.2087. Yeah, so that gets you very close to 5 as well. So yeah, so that was, I found that quite interesting. So it's the next question. So this one's a good question for this reason that it doesn't even tell you you're too low or too big. It just starts you off. So this is one where it will test your kind of like common sense to begin with. So, all right. So we come to this one. And this one, you know, it hasn't even got a table or anything. And it hasn't told us which is too big or small. What you will notice that it is to 1 decimal place. So here's what you have to do. You've got to be a little bit smart where you start. You know, there's no point trying x equals 50. You know, go for 50 cubed minus 50, which is going to give us a beast number, way too big. And then obviously try honing in. Look, be a little bit smart, kind of like, look at this, like, you know your cubed numbers, you know that 2 cubed equals 8, you know 3 cubed equals 27, so think about that. So if you did x, so can you see if you did x equals 3, you get 27 minus 3, which will give you 24, so let's start with that. So x equals 3 would give us, you can show your working if you want. So I'd do 3 cubed minus 3 and just say that's 24. And then I'd say this is too big. Okay, now listen, I mean, you know. So, you know, then I'd kind of, so that's too big. Show them x equals 2, 2 cubed minus 2, which is obviously 8 minus 2, which is 6. That's way too small. And can you just see, we're trying to hit 21. Can you see how much closer it is to 3 than to 2? So you can either do 2.5 here, but I might, you know, I haven't even tried this. I'm going to start with 2.7, see what that gives me. Because again, this, when I put x equals 3 in, it was just 3 away. When I put x equals 2 in, it was 15 away. So, you know, I'm going to start closer to there. I might be totally wrong, but bet you I'm not. Alright, so this gives me 16.983, which is too small. So that's interesting. So I've literally gone from 2 to 3, from this being too small, too big, to 2.7, which is too small, to 3, which is too big. So now I'm just down to literally 2.8 and 2.9. So, you know, let's try one of those. Let's try 2.8. So yeah, 2.8 squared minus 2.8. What does that equal? When I say squared, I mean cubed, by the way. Sometimes I make these errors when I talk. Alright, so this one gives me 19.152. That's still too small. So now I'm at the stage of 2.8 is too small. And the 3.0 is too big. So I just try 2.9 and this should finally give me my thing. 2.9 cubed minus 2.9. Right, and this one gives me 21.489. So this is too big. Right, so now I'm at the situation where 2.8 was too small and 2.9 was just too big. But this gave me 21.489. This one gave me like 19.152. Obviously this one's closer to 21. So my answer is 2.9. And that's really all there is to trial and error. Not much to say. Just, you know, find out. It'll always give you the accuracy once. It might, you know, it's usually 1 decimal place, it might be 2 decimal places. But yeah, so you just find the 2 numbers, if it's 1 decimal place, find the 2 numbers which are next to each other, which are 1 decimal place away, if it's 1 decimal place. So say something like 5.2 and 5.3, and you're looking for them, the two which are like that, where one is too big and one is too small. So then you just look at that, and out of those two, you pick whichever's the closest to what you're trying to do. And that is it. That literally is it. Nothing more to this, yeah.